Hello Internet, welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 115. My name is Patrick, I'm joined by Saif, say hi.
Yellow, I will have fun syncing this up, Patrick.
And the toe sucker, say hi.
Suck my toes.
Yeah, there we go, yeah. Here we go, we're in for a long one today, guys. So
Always has been. Physically cannot stop myself.
Well,
I'm going to cut all of those so it's only Steven saying suck my toes and not the setup and punchline.
Hey, you just said it then too. You're going to jail, man.
Someone's gonna do a fun little TikTok remix of everyone saying that line, but the question is, will I say it before the episode's up? We may
you
never know.
did.
Oh no, they've got AI. They've got AI for that.
No, wait, you said toe sucker. You didn't say the other line.
You've already
Good
said
try,
it.
Seth.
What do you gain by trying to hide the same line? Oh,
So you don't get multiple clean cuts of me saying it.
Fair enough. Got to train that AI somehow. Real quick Steam charts for the fellas this week, because I know Steven just loves a good Steam charts.
Oh, I had a story.
Oh, did you? Well,
Too
I can
bad
go
you're
after
getting Steam charts first.
Good.
Have we been playing Shadow of the Erd Tree this week?
Negative.
I have not. No, I've been too busy.
Fair enough. I also haven't been because I'm scared of how much time I will lose to just playing it. Although I've heard by several accounts, very, very good. Some people go as far as saying it's the best DLC just like out there in terms of what it does, like as a DLC, one of the strongest pieces of DLC ever made, which...
Do you really think it's fucked up how we're making this like it's not a good game, it's a good DLC? Like whatever.
I'd agree with that. I mean, my gold standard is still probably something like Iceborne, given how expansive that remade world, and I'm a sucker for Monster Hunter.
Not the point I'm making here. Not the point I'm making. The point is...
That's the point that we're going with. That's what we call the host privilege. You can go back to your corner and suck on some toes.
He said it. He said the line.
Say the line, bot.
AI, get this man right now. AI, get this man right now.
So, Steam charts, super easy this week. We have 228,000 people playing Elden Ring according to Steam charts. All I want to know, the number of people changed in the last 30 days, which Shadow of the Erd Tree, quite a few people playing. Last 30 days, is that more or less than the number of people currently playing Overwatch 2?
Oh,
Surely it's more.
like the peak
Just
at the
higher or lower? Just higher or lower? Number of people that have started playing Elden Ring compared to previous months this month in the last 30 days. The number of people
that was the clarification I was going to ask for. Like the amount of gain it got, is it higher than Overwatch 2?
Yes, exactly. Than Overwatch 2 right now. Higher or lower?
Yeah.
A or B?
Higher. 100% higher.
Higher? Lower?
Higher, yeah. No, wait, I said it first, so you have to go lower, Seth.
No, I don't. Higher plus one.
The answer...
Nope. Can't do that. That's not fair.
Illegal, ref. It is lower. Shockingly, I actually think
I said lower.
Oh, so
I said lower.
No, Steven gave me that win. He said I had to go lower.
Nah. You
He
said
went
higher
first
plus
and
one.
said higher.
Nah. You said higher plus one, so my higher.
Yeah, but you said I couldn't do that, so I have to go lower.
Yeah, well, since when have you ever listened to me?
All the time. I always
Actually,
keep all your funny
Steve-
edits in.
Steve's got a good point. When do you ever listen to it?
And you said higher plus one.
I can't believe that's the hill he can die on, but he actually gets to pull that card this time.
Unfortunate.
I think it's a little bit cheaty. I thought maybe this is I just figured out why. I think what Steam Charts is doing is it's saying last 30 days, and we're only 2 days into July, so it's saying last 2 days for July. Because here I am going like last 30 days. That's crazy. Number of players changed in June. It grew by 174,000, which makes way more sense. But in the last 30 days, according to Steam Charts, which I'm assuming is the last 2 days, a gain of 9,500. And somehow, this is the more shocking part, honestly. There are 20,500 people playing Overwatch 2.
God damn.
Yeah,
that's
blew my mind.
That's a little more than Exoprimal.
Yeah, just a couple
just a little
digits
bit,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, what we in the biz call a little bit more. Steven, story time?
Bonus round, actually.
Oh, fuck's sake. Okay. Sorry, Steve. No story time. Bonus round.
So bonus round, this is for you two now. Final Fantasy 14 just had its expansion come out, and there's been...
Zero people are playing that trash
Higher plus
game.
one.
No one
Higher
cares.
plus one.
So there's been a lot of discussion the past couple of years of will this new expansion live up to Endwalker's expansion numbers, because that was during peak COVID. So I just want you to guess how close it got in player number. Endwalker was 95,000 and rounded 95,000 people on Steam. How much do you think Dawn Trail got to?
94,000.
90,000. Actually, no, let's be funny. Let's go 69,000.
69,000? So, unfortunately, I have to give the point to Steven. He's the closest without going over. Dawn Trail is rounded up going to 92,000.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty close. Yeah, and
That's
like for the people that were worried about,
I won 2 of them now.
For the people that were worried about Dawn Trail not living up to Endwalker, I mean, it didn't, but it's pretty close.
Mate, you're just saying words at this point.
Yes.
Can't hear you. This gold medal.
The COVID bump didn't matter too much for Final Fantasy 14. That's all I'll say.
And that is kind of cool. I mean, I don't think it's as impressive as 20,000 people that are slogging it through Overwatch 2 right now, but that's pretty cool.
It's a shame just Final Fantasy 14 is a bad game.
And you play the bad one of part of it.
Hey, say less. Say less. Steven, story time?
Like 50 fucking hours of that bullshit game.
Oh, is that the story?
God.
Yeah, it is a story.
So the story is so for all those very familiar with the Steven lore, I moved into a new place about like 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago now. And like in the lounge room, there's a TV, and like trying to set up this TV, or not set up the TV was like already there. And I'm like, I plugged in the Xbox and like everything was blurry on it. I'm like, why the fuck is it blurry? So I spent 40 minutes fixing up this.
It's only running at 1080p.
You want to let me finish, big fella, or you just want to tell a story, man?
No. I just want to make fun of you.
Tell a story, man.
So Steven traded in his Xbox and got a PS5. Is that the story?
And I had no games to play, so I do nothing but play the Switch all the time now.
All you did was play Astrobot speedrun levels over and over, which honestly is better than anything the Xbox has to offer.
Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, so I spent like 40 minutes trying to fix the resolution on the TV, and like the TV, the Xbox, I tried different cables, I tried everything. It wasn't working, and I got the shit, so I'm like, whatever. Maybe it's me. So then it turns out I got my eyes tested about 3 weeks ago, and now I have glasses, and it was me. That's why.
Now you can see all 1080p of those pixels.
All 4K of them. Don't know why you need to see more than 720p. That was when it peaked.
I can't believe your eye doctor caught you in 4K.
Well, now that I can see 4K, I can catch him in 4K as well. But no, if you do think your eyes are going bad, please get them tested. This is a public service announcement from Steven. But your TV is not blurry, it is your eyes. No, I went and treated myself to a Daniel's Donuts. I know. There's a lot more Daniel's Donuts.
What are you doing? You're ruining our sponsorship deal.
Maybe I'm going to go trying to hit up by the Daniel's Donuts deal, huh?
We can't have 2 competing companies buying over our sponsorship. That's not how it works.
Why can't we? You know what? I reckon Mr. Daniel himself should get in touch, and we can talk about making a Steven donut.
I don't think that'd take off.
We really looking at the great unifier, the avatar of donuts, Steven himself.
Oh my! You know what? You might be onto something. The Don Avatar. The holy guy, because donuts have holes. There we go. We just got to keep saying things. We'll eventually be right.
A broken clock and all that. Well, I'm glad you have you wearing them right now.
Broken donut and all that. But yeah, everybody get your eyes checked.
Are you wearing the glasses right now?
No, I don't need them for short distance.
Okay, can you say that you're wearing them?
No, you're lying. I'd never lie on this podcast.
You've lied all the time on this podcast. How many Final Fantasy 16 Collector's Editions do I have?
Like 7,000.
See? Blatant lies.
Right.
It's 7,001.
I said at least 7,000.
Well, you know the rules. Steve was closest without going over.
3 gold medals
cool.
today. I'm winning.
Shall we get into Rune de Lunge for this week?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Well, okay. I mean, don't make me twist your arm or anything.
What have you been up to, Patrick? You never go first on Round the Lounge.
Well, that's because a good host always knows that it's age before beauty. Yeah, that's right. We're just going to leave that.
Patrick's just too used to finishing first. That's why he goes last.
Yeah, you know what? That's why they call me the nice guy. Wait, fuck, that's not the saying. What have I been up to? I have been playing a little bit of Deep Rock Galactic Survivors. That's basically a Vampire Survivors.
We got to chat after about Deep Rock Galactic soon, Pat.
I'm sure we absolutely will. Survivors. I don't know that it's worthy of like maybe I will do a full-on review at some point. But so far, enjoying it. But it is quite clear that it's trying to take some of Vampire Survivors' lunch, and there's some things that it does well, and some things that it does worse. But I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. The big one that I actually want to talk about this week, I have already seen all of The Bear Season 3, which is funny because it only came out like a week ago.
Right, it's a bear, right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's 3 of them, Steve. There's 3 of them.
Yeah, this is the new season, though, so it's like you just watched the new one.
Yeah, but you're watching the new one, but there's 2 like behind you, and one of them has a gun.
But you've already seen the first 2, so they're actually in front of this third one.
That's true, actually. No, you know what? Shit, he's right. I don't say this
often.
Why
are you making him so powerful this episode?
Yeah, I don't know. He's spitting facts. I'm powerless here.
The age of Stephen is over. Wait, hang on. The age of Stephen is rats. Fucked it. I fumbled it. Move on. Yeah. So the Bear Season 3.
This is why we give him so much power. He can't handle it.
It's true. No one man.
Immediate fumble.
Seth, what have you been up to this week?
Unsurprising to everyone, since I mentioned a Final Fantasy 14 expansion hit, I've been playing the Final Fantasy 14 video game.
Curious. Why?
Not so curious. It should be obvious. Final Fantasy 14 updated. I went and played Final Fantasy 14. There's nothing more to say.
Oh yeah. Would you say that you're a Final Fantasy 14 fan?
I dabble.
If you're such a fan, name all 14 Final Fantasies.
Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 14.
I hope everyone driving a motor vehicle didn't
Stranger
just
of
swerve into
Paradise, Final Fantasy
oncoming
Origins,
traffic.
Final Fantasy 16.
I think someone missed Dissidia Final Fantasy.
I was getting to
I'm
it.
going to kill myself. I am literally going to have an Xbox One an Xbox Series X fridge bar.
You and everyone operating a heavy motor vehicle at this point.
Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, here we go. Cool. Well, thank you for that, Seth. I think I'm not sure. We'll figure that one out. Stephen, what have you been up to?
Final Fantasy The Crystal Chronicles.
I've been playing the hit video game from 2017, I believe.
Banjo-Kazooie?
Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Oh, that.
Not as good.
Oh man, play this game now. This game's good. Woo. What can I say, fellas? Man, a lot of people have told me that this is probably one of the greatest games in all time, and now that I've played it and finished it, it's up there. It's probably in the top 1,000 video games, I'd say.
Patrick, I know you're usually the host, but I want to put Steven on the spot. He just asked, what can I say about this game? So I think he should go first.
You know what? Sometimes when you're right, you're right. I think we should try and let Steve figure out what he should say about the video game.
Rats. So I'm going first?
Yeah. What now?
Yeah, talk about Sekiro.
Okay, good. Well, all right.
Have fun dying twice, nerd.
Well, I'm not a shadow, so I didn't die twice. I actually died probably like 1,000 times. So
you should have streamed it and had a death counter like Kai Cenat playing Elden Ring.
Just someone. You know what? Doesn't matter. Let's just move on. I'm not going to be Kai Cenat. So Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is, I'm reading on the Wikipedia page, it actually came out in 2019, not 2017. So it's actually not that old. It's 5 years old. So this is a From Software game. So it's from our favorite creators of Dark Souls and Elden Ring. But it is very, very different to those type of games. Like it does have the same sort of skeleton, as in there are bonfires, which these are shrines. It is a very difficult game. There is just the general feel of and the atmosphere of the game does feel very much like a Souls-like, if you would.
Stephen, can I give you a fun fact I don't know if you've thought about yet?
Here it comes.
Technically, Microsoft owns this game. It was published by Activision, and now they own Activision. Yeah, and I think Activision still owns... Actually, no, I think Activision still owns the publishing rights. But for some reason, I get... don't fact check me on that. Or if you do fact check me on that... I am currently fact checking.
Fact checking me.
Seth, we literally just told you not to do that.
Okay, From Software owns the IP. Activision just partnered with them for publishing.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's what it was, yeah. Well, which is like, it's pretty interesting because this is 2019. This is after Dark Souls 3. I didn't think they needed to do that. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. But this game is set in, don't want to say medieval Japan, but like Japan probably around the 1800s. And you're following this guy called Wolf, his name is Sekiro, on his quest to free his lord from the dragon's rot, I think it is. And it's some cycle of life and rebirth that kind of justifies the player character dying all the time and coming back to life. It is what it is. The story's pretty light on. You're not there for the story. You're there for the combat. But where this goes a different direction from the classic FromSoft games is that there is no equipment whatsoever. As in, you have a sword at the start. It doesn't get upgraded. It doesn't have any armor that you can equip. There's no way to essentially cheese the game. The essentially way that you're getting better at this game is you're getting fucking good at it. This is probably one of the very few games that I can say that, oh yeah, I got good at this game. There is no boss that I cheesed. There is no boss that I'd like, oh yeah, I'll just grab this overpowered weapon and just beat them with it. There's very little chance to over level because the kind of upgrades you get by leveling up are just more technique based. That might give you like a certain skill or something, but that doesn't really progress to being better at the game because the game exists solely more on parrying rather than like dodge rolling and taking advantage of iframes like the typical Souls like. So for example, 9 times out of 10, when you're up against the boss has like a sort of a health bar, but the health bar is kind of like a false flag because you don't want to be focusing on the health bar. You want to be focusing on like this sort of parry gauge, which is kind of next to it. And when that parry gauge fills up, you can get like a death blow, which is pretty much a one-hit KO. It's a one-hit kill. And to get that parry meter up, obviously you've got to just keep parrying the opponent. But it kind of becomes a delicate kind of dance because if you like, let's say the boss does 4 attacks and you parry him 4 times and then you kind of like get a bit of distance from him to kind of regather yourself and get ready, his parry meter will like start to decrease. So what the real thing to do is to parry like a couple times, maybe do 1 or 2 strikes and that kind of stabilizes it and then get ready for the next attack that you can parry. And it's all this dance and rhythm and knowing the enemy's techniques and how best to dodge in the very few instances you have to dodge or the best instances to parry or to like take a step back or something. And when there are openings to hit, you got to hit and take advantage of it. And holy shit. It's just, it's just the way that it works and the way that it just feels so good when you get like all the parries right. Because when you parry right, your sword kind of makes a little bit of a different sound and sparks go up and you can see the gauge filling up. And it's then you can, if you leave it a bit too long, you start to get stressed out because then it will start to go down and it just becomes this. It becomes a lot more intense, and you know you can't get too stressed out by it because if you get stressed out, you're not going to be able to hit the timing right, or you're going to get sloppy and all that kind of thing. So you got to stay calm. You've got to stay like alert at all time, and it's probably without a doubt like some of the boss fights are probably the most stressful moments I've had. Like literally, the last boss was very hard. I was stuck on it for about a week. My housemate was watching me try to lock in, and I'd play for about half an hour, and I'd get very close, and then I'd just die, and I'd be like, "No, I'll just come back to it tomorrow." And I did beat it, and I beat it at like 7 a.m. before work, and it took every ounce of my being not to just scream, just
4
so satisfying. When
a.m.
you actually 7 a.m.
Oh, 7 a.m. I misheard it. How did it sound like 4 a.m. to me?
I have no idea. I heard 7 a.m.
Oh, thank God! I thought I misspoke. No, well, Zeph's probably just not listening. But yeah, like then I finally
tell me something before.
He heard 4 like Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, okay. He's still thinking. Maybe he said like Final Fantasy 16 4 Collector's Edition.
True.
Now that's something I can get behind.
But anyway, like the point I'm trying to make is that the sense of achievement you get when you get past a boss feels a lot more earned than most of the other Dark Souls or Souls-like games out there, because there is no way you can cheese it. Like your attack power goes up a little bit because you've beaten old bosses, so that's kind of like a better kind of way to get through like generic enemies on the way to the boss fight. But the actual bosses themselves, there's no way to cheese, so you know that you've gotten better at this game. And it just feels so satisfying. Like there are like prosthetics, which are kind of like secondary items, because like you've lost an arm in this game, so you get a prosthetic arm, and you can use that to use like as an umbrella to guard yourself from fire attacks, to shoot shuriken, to be a nuisance, and you can have it for a whistle that can kind of make enemies go to your position where you were, and then you can go up behind them and stab them, because this game has a bit of a stealth mechanic as well, which is very different to all the other Souls-like games. It does become kind of on the adventure to the next boss fight and to the next area, you'll come up against like groups of enemies, and it's like, okay, do I go in guns blazing and try to take them by surprise and just slash before they can attack back? Or do I want to take a little bit of time, sneak around and kind of try to pick them off one by one? Or do I just want to kind of go in, parry all the enemies' attacks, and then go for it? Oh, but yeah, it's and it's also got like this cool grappling hook thing, which I think is fantastic. So it gives the levels and the map that you're on senses of like scale. Like there's many different ways of approaching like different challenges that it faces. And I mean that in terms of both like platforming challenges of how to get from point A to point B, but also when it's like how to defeat enemies as well. Because if you've got like if you have the high ground, to use the words of the famous Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can use one of those death blows and get like a one-hit kill. So it does kind of give you the advantage to use the grappling hook and to grab to go up high. But then at the same time, you can also use the grappling hook to kind of speed your way through levels. And if you get a bit overconfident, like I did a couple of times, you need a quick way to get out of a fight, you can just use the grappling hook to kind of speed away, which is it's pretty cool. It's just a different way of approaching these type of games, and I really like it. And it's, for better or worse, it is an interesting thing that while it feels so Dark Souls, it has taken so many creative liberties in shaking up the formula and giving it its own sense of identity, which is very. You'd think you'd hear about or play this type of game from a company that's been inspired by Dark Souls, but isn't From Software. So to see From Software take their normal formula and then instead of saying 2 + 2 = 4, they're giving you 2 squared is 4. I don't know why I put in that math formula thing in. That didn't really work, but I'll say it anyway. But it's just fantastic. I highly recommend it to any Souls-like enjoyers. And I'm kind of conscious as I was playing this, I was thinking a little bit of Saif, what was that? Wolong Fallen Dynasty, that was the game.
Happy to help.
I was kind of no, I've already found it. I was kind of thinking about that while I was playing this game, because that kind of had a bit of the same parrying.
Yeah, Wolong's kind of going for the same thing where it's like, I don't think it's going for the exact same thing. It's going for more of a, you parry because it flows like a river sort of mentality. While
like
Sekiro,
you parry and then you parry, your enemy kind of stumbles for a bit, then you hit them 3 or 4 times. Whereas Sekiro is like you're parrying to get that final blow, that one-shot kill. And I couldn't help but kind of understand a bit more like what Wolong was trying to do playing this game. And I know I was very harsh on that game, rightly so. It's a very mid game. But I can't help wondering if I had played this first and then played Wolong, would I have been a bit more harsher on Wolong?
Oh, I think absolutely.
Wolong, yeah, but maybe Wolong made me appreciate this game a lot better because I saw something that implemented a parry system not too well, and then this one that is literally perfected it. And it's even interesting when you think about like what Wolong came out in 2023, and to
I think it was 22.
think about that 22, whatever. Well, after this game came out, like a couple of years after this game came out, and to think that they've done it worse, maybe I'm once again jacking off From Software for actually being the masters of their craft. And when they do a game, they do it fantastically, except for Dark Souls 2. But yeah, like if anybody's kind of played Elden Ring, playing the Elden Ring DLC, and it kind of wants a bit more of...
But if they want a real challenge...
Yeah, but maybe not... It's got the same vein of the Elden Ring kind of difficulty, but it's got very different gameplay. So it's kind of Elden Ring adjacent if you kind of want to play something similar. But it's fantastic. The weird thing for me though is, and this is a me problem, I know, I don't want to hear it. Like it is a Japanese game set in Japan, and I set it to like the English voices. And the English voice acting is not very good, but I think that's just because.
Are they still going for like a Soul style old English voices, or do they?
No.
But it's kind of Japanese accents. It's very racist.
I wasn't going to go that direction.
No,
I was going to say, do they just do like regular voice acting?
No, it's like regular voice acting, but like just the way that the Japanese language is constructed, it's kind of hard to do that. Do you know in Dark Souls it'll like say a sentence and it'll be like a little bit of a break and then it'll be like another sentence?
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit like that, but like the way the Japanese sentences are constructed doesn't really work. So when they've put it into the English language, it kind of just sounds like the person's finished their sentence, but they're only halfway through it, if that makes sense. It doesn't work. Play this game subbed. Not that you really care about the voice acting or the story or anything, but it was just kind of it was a classic Steven moment, and I'm not going to take points off for it either, because I don't think it's designed to be played with an English dub. But no, it's a fantastic game. Definitely a 9 out of 10. Would I say it's a 10? Very close to 1, but no, it's a 9.
We'll get you one day.
No, you won't. But yeah, like it never really goes on sale either, so good luck. Look, I think I got it 50% off because that's the cheapest I saw it, but like whatever, that was still like $30 or something. But I literally cannot express my joy at the sense of achievement you get when you finally beat a difficult boss. Like it's different when you beat a difficult boss in Dark Souls and Elden Ring, but when you get it through here, you know it's because you've actually gotten fucking good at the game. Like the amount of videos I watched on how to beat like the last boss doesn't really do you any justice because you've simply just got to play the fucking game and get the muscle memory. I even like had the controller plugged in, so like there wasn't any delay from like the wireless. I don't think that helped me. But fantastic game. Fantastic.
Wow. Strong words. Is that it? Is that you done?
I have nothing more to say about this game. Everybody go play it.
You know what? Maybe we will, Steve. Maybe we will. Or maybe we won't listen to you like we normally do.
Oh, well, more game for me.
But you finished the game.
There's like 4 endings, so maybe I'll go back and get the other 3. I won't.
Wow, fantastic game and hasn't even seen all the endings. I say saying Elden Ring's a fantastic game and having only seen one of the endings.
Yeah, but that's a big game.
That's true.
So is this game?
It's a hearty game. Right. Well, why don't we? Okay, I guess Seth picked for Steve. Steve gets to pick for us. Who goes next? Steve.
I want you and Seth to go at the same time.
Oh, okay. You ready, Seth?
Hold on. What if we like did the fusion dance and then like both our voices are overlapping as we talk about the same thing instead?
What if we do an auditory version of those old 3D books where one headphone is just me talking, one headphone is just you talking, and then you just flick back and forth really quick, and it sounds like we're having a conversation.
That sounds like too much editing.
Book. Hang on. A 3D book?
Yeah, you know how books aren't in 3D normally? No, I mean those books where they come with like the red and blue glasses. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about, Steve.
I know what you're talking about, but I've just never heard of those.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a book with those glasses.
You know what? It doesn't matter. I'm getting a headache from this. Pat, you go first.
This is not the bit that I thought we'd be having, and we've already wasted 2 minutes. Okay, the bear. So got to caveat this one because the show did just. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for that.
Always has been.
Is there a chance that either of you are going to go watch The Bear at some point?
Yeah, it's been on my watch list.
There are too many things on my watch list, and this is probably top 5.
Okay. I will avoid talking about spoilers, and I guess I'll put like a soft spoiler warning in that if you plan on watching season 3 soon, maybe skip over this and then come back to it. Because what I'm going to talk about is...
Alright, I'm taking my headphones off. See you guys later.
Oh, thank God he's gone.
Yeah, now we can talk about the real thing.
Finally talk shit about Final Fantasy.
Oh, you can't?
Oh, holy shit, he's still here.
I heard Final Fantasy and my ears were tingling.
So the main thing, regardless of if you're going to watch it, Seth, there won't be any spoilers, is that it's the sort of show that I don't think you can spoil for season 3 because it kind of, and this sounds like a criticism, but it sort of is, sort of isn't, it kind of does nothing. And my example of this, you know how when we were talking about The Last of Us, the TV show, the episode 3, whatever it is, with Ron.
Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson. Trying to think of the guy's actual name.
I am fact checking on that for you.
Bob Odenkirk, that's definitely not him. Nick
Offerman.
Thank you. I knew it began. It was last name began with an O. Nick Offerman. So you know how when we were watching that show, both of us agreed this is fantastic television, but it's not a good Last of Us the series episode because it doesn't really exist in service of the goals of the show. Yeah. So that's kind of most of season 3. And it's a really weird. So I don't know whether or not this is a criticism. Genuinely don't know. Kind of interested in opinions here. But I really liked what I watched. It was shot very well, executed very well. I enjoyed what I watched. There was a moment that I'm not going to give away, but actually just made me burst out laughing, which I think happens about once a season for The Bear, and is definitely the moment that I'm thinking of in season 3. Don't want to spoil it. Very funny. But in terms of what the show is, I really liked season 1, and season 2 confused me because it became less about where the restaurant was going and more about the people. And I had a few discussions with people that watched The Bear, and some people were like, oh yeah, I can kind of see that, but I sort of like the kind of like interpersonal stories and that kind of storytelling. And that's fair enough. Season 3 is almost all interpersonal storytelling and things, and very little in the grand scheme of things is about the restaurant. So it's really good, like, backstory, because there's a lot of flashbacks and a lot of like really just sort of well done kind of deep dive sounds like the YouTubery way of putting it, but a lot of stuff was really taken care of in terms of really focusing in on the characters. But when I think about The Bear as the arc about like this restaurant that started somewhere and is trying to go somewhere else, it doesn't feel like much of season 3 services that arc at all. And I really enjoyed what I watched, but I don't know where I'm left in terms of did I enjoy season 3 as a season of The Bear? Because it's a very good season of television, but I don't think it's a good season of The Bear, or at least The Bear that I really like from season 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is. And my question is, do you think after season 2, there was anywhere left for it to go in that direction that you wanted? Or do you think that season 3 might have been kind of like a necessary season of like, I guess like a stopgap for the main story?
I sort of know what you mean. They cliffhanger season 2 to where you think that there's like a lot of pieces to pick up in season 3. And they do pick up some of them, but they spend a lot of time, like there is an objective. Like if we're thinking about it in terms of like the RPG sense, episode 1, season 3 gives you a new primary objective. And then it feels like the rest of the season goes after side quests rather than servicing the primary objective. The primary objective is pretty clear as to what it's trying to do. It's not anything like wild or unexpected or anything, but it feels like you could take it feels like you get the cliffhanger of season 2 and then you go into season 3 and you're like, okay, where are we picking up? Because there was quite a lot happening at the end of season 2, and then the show's just like, okay, let's just reset. Let's just go and explore all these fun side quests. And so here's me, who was really focused on the primary objective back in season 1 and then kind of got lost in season 2 with side quests, but was like, okay, I can kind of still see the objective. And now season 3 is like, hey, this is a pretty lofty objective. I'm like, ooh, this is pretty interesting. And then it's like, hey, side quest time. And I'm like, I mean, we could have done more in service of the primary objective, I think. In fact, it's, again, not a spoiler, but the end of season 3 is almost entirely inconsequential to the primary objective. Again, not to say that it's bad, it's just the primary objective that it sets up. And then you go through the show and then you're like, okay, season finale, because the season finale is always a bit like crazy. And this one just feels toned down, or like it feels kind of like an actual series finale, but it doesn't really answer what it set out to do. It's like, what are we doing? And I'm sure there'll be someone snarky who has some like 100-page essay talking about how it's actually, if you look at it in this way, it's because this is in service of this, that, or the other thing. What's been interesting is I watched it on Disney Plus. It's an FX show, but I watched it on Disney Plus because, at least in New Zealand,
does it have cool FX?
Sure. The bear looked great.
So this segment started off with an objective, and then Steven came along and kind of derailed it.
Yeah, much like
You're welcome,
sort of thing,
by the way.
But I watched on Disney Plus, and so because I do that thing where I subscribe to Disney Plus and then immediately cancel the subscription, that way I know that I can't like leave my credit card attached to it paying when I know that I'm not going to watch anything.
The correct choice.
Exactly, yeah. So I only buy Disney Plus 1 month at a time. Even then, because it's Disney Plus, the correct choice is actually probably just to find it on the high seas. But I do that, and then somewhere there's a cookie that says, hey, he is interested in streaming, so let's show him some ads for the bear. And what's been interesting is on Facebook, which is the thing that I use for basically just
you
memes.
A boomer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Seeing what my crazy aunt is up to.
Oh god,
what's she up to?
I gotta stay away from my crazy uncle. That's why I never go on Facebook.
Fair. But the ads, there have been ads for season 3 of The Bear going like, hey, you can watch it now on Disney Plus. And the comment section is filled with people that aren't fans of season 3, but they're not fans of season 3 in that they feel that the season was underwhelming. And I don't think it's an underwhelming thing. I'm perfectly whelmed by what I saw. I just don't think what I saw was in service of what I know of The Bear, the TV series. So it's really left me in like a weird...
didn't want it. It sounds like you didn't want it to be outside the restaurant.
It's not like yes and no. Yeah, like
Just say it. Just say if you like the restaurant drama, you like the restaurant drama. It's taking it down a different path and just admit it, man.
I like the restaurant drama. There, I said it. Do you feel good about that, Steve?
Yeah, I'm actually a bear in disguise. Rah, don't watch my TV show. Rah.
Oh shit, it's the
He's
Goldilocks
after
thing
your
all over
picnic
again.
basket.
Yeah, he is.
This TV show was just right.
That's Goldilocks, not the bear.
Yeah?
Yeah, read a book.
Oh, here we go. You know bears can't read.
He just got glasses.
The glass of a long distance. I said this.
Then read a book long distance.
Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave the bear discussion. It's as if the So the final thing I'll say: season 1 really good about servicing the objective because the objective was super clear and it was super fun to watch it trying to move towards the objective. Season 2, they started doing side quests, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see the side questy aspect of this. That's all right, and how it's in service of the main objective, but I liked how it handled the primary objective in the first season. And this season, specifically this season, feels like I think there's 10 to 12. I actually don't know how many episodes there are. I watched them over I watched them over the weekend, basically. So not quite binge of just get the whole thing done in one sitting, but fairly heavy watching it all through. But what I noticed is that so many of the episodes are all like Last of Us Season 3 of really, really good stories, but not in service of the thing that I came here to see. And that just puts me in a weird spot. So still worth watching. Still, even if you're like me and you liked The Bear Season 1 more than The Bear Season 2, still worth watching. Still really, really just good television. But I'm curious to see if they do Season 4 or what they do with Season 4, because my suspicion is that they started doing it with Season 2 and I'm like, okay, maybe they'll pull it back, and then they doubled down for Season 3, but I don't know that you can double down past this point. I think you kind of have to go back to in service of the primary objective, because there isn't. I think they've done all of the other side quests, guys. I think they're ready for the final boss encounter.
That's what you think.
Yeah,
There's always more side quests.
And then you know what? Shadow of the Erd Tree gets dropped. There's another bear.
It's the Erd Bear.
Yeah, the Erd Bear.
Does it end on a cliffhanger?
Only if it didn't answer the questions that were set out at the beginning of the season, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that it's not a cliffhanger in that you need immediate answers to the questions, because the show didn't seem interested in addressing those questions. So, are there unanswered questions at the end of the season? Yes. Is it a high, intensity, drama-y, cliffhanger-y moment in the typical TV drama sense? No. But that's okay in the context of season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. 7 out of 10, too much water. Yeah, overall, fuck it. 8.
No Battlefront DLC.
I don't remember what I gave Season 2, Season 1. I think Season 1 was 9, 9.5. Still stand by that. Season 2 had a couple banger episodes, but again, started deviating from what I wanted the bear to be. And then Season 3 is just hey, Side Quest City. So, yeah, 8 out of 10. That's my piece
Is this a
done.
Fallout show?
Is what?
Is this
He's
the
still
Fallout
upset
show?
about the dog
in
in the Fallout show.
I was going to say the vending machine. In the
vending machine.
The what was it, the post box?
No, it was in the fridge.
Something like that. Some sort of barrel. Fridge? The Xbox Series X fridge?
No, it was a good fridge.
the one in Steven's bath?
No, that's just the Xbox Series X.
You know what? Fun fact.
Here we
just
go.
the way that the house is you know what? Just buckle in. This is a story. Whether it's good or bad, who knows? You got me
you're
started.
going to enjoy it.
Strap yourselves in and put those smiles on your face. Just the way that my house is laid out, we don't really have room for the vacuum cleaner. So the vacuum cleaner is actually sitting in the bathtub at the moment. I always think that's funny every time I go to the
really
bathtub.
thought you were going to say we don't have room to move the fridge out of the bathtub.
No,
I was very worried he said he was just going to get rid of the vacuum cleaner.
No, we just put it in the bathtub. No one has a bath. Should I have a bath? Do we like baths?
Wait, you're not recording from your bath?
I could be, unless. What are you wearing?
got one of those bath bombs. There
Toaster.
are
Damn it, he beat me to it.
The forbidden bath bomb. Anyway, Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy bath bomb.
Oh boy, my bath is done. Time for bed for Steven.
One more fantasy before the lights go out. Seth, you've been playing with some bath toasters.
So the funny thing about Final Fantasy 14 is that right now with the new expansion, a lot of people are going through the exact same feelings that you're going through with the bear. I'm not going to talk about the expansion too much because I've just kind of started it, but
the expansion's all about you open a restaurant. Oh, yeah.
No, the expansion is that you go to a new country and you just do a low stakes story of trying to help someone take the throne, and it's just kind of treated as like, yeah, you just kind of go around this new country and learn about the culture and everyone that lives in this place. And I've been having a good time with it, but a lot of people are like, we just came off a story where we literally fought a universe-ending threat. Now we're just going around doing nothing. This is boring. What the fuck is happening? And I'm like, you know what?
You climbed Everest and you're like, oh, where can we go from Everest? Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Have
you know what?
Final Fantasy.
I like this low stakes story. It's nice. But
I thought you were gonna say you hate it.
Before this expansion, there was all of the patch quests you had to do between Endwalker and Dawn Trail, and I left them all until like the last minute. So I did my big story rush to try and get ready before Dawn Trail came out, and the patch quests were also very nice. So the patch quests are based on Final Fantasy IV, like very, very heavily based on that. Endwalker in general is very heavily based on Final Fantasy IV, but this is even more so where it's like, okay, we're just bringing in all of the bosses from Final Fantasy IV. We've got the 4 Archfiends, we've got Golbez, and it repeated. I've played Final Fantasy IV. I should know everything that's happening in this story because this is just following that to a T. I completely forgot about Zeromus, the final secret boss fight that happens in Final Fantasy IV, where he just comes out of nowhere and is like, I'm the big boss now, you gotta fight me. And the exact same thing happened in Final Fantasy XIV, and when he showed up, I'm like, I should have seen this coming. Why didn't I think Zeromus was going to show up?
Why didn't you?
I just didn't think about it. Golbez was right there. I'm like, Golbez is the big baddie. Turns out, no. And there's other things that's like,
is that
if
guy's
you played
wife the big baddie?
if you've played Final Fantasy IV, you can see all of the twists coming throughout it. I'm not going to get too much into them though. But yeah, so general gist of it was this was kind of like a story where you the main characters of Final Fantasy XIV are trying to figure out how to cross the rift into the alternate universes, because in the universe of Final Fantasy XIV, where all of the events take place is on a place called the Source, and then there's 13 reflections of the source called...
Oh,
yes,
Source.
Yes. And there's 13 reflections called shards. So 13 plus 1 makes 14. There's 14 worlds.
I get it, because you're taking ice. You're calling it shards. I get it. Very funny.
What does a high priority 40 base power ice move have to do with anything, Stephen?
Ice shard, even funny.
So yeah,
it's got +1 priority. You got to use it to go first. Nope.
Was there a follow up?
Yeah.
No, I just said you got to go first.
Yeah, he sounded like he had something else to say after that.
No, I didn't. No, I just said you just wanted. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, you're doing ice now, Steph.
No, I'm doing darkness. Dankness even. But yeah, so there's 2 shards that we're by this point in the story that we've visited. There's I think Steven would have done it by now if he's done all of the Realm Reborn, where you have to go to the 13th shard that's been completely taken over by darkness. And that's where the Crystal Tower raids took place. Like, by the time you get to the last raid, and that's where you're going. And then the entire Shadowbringers expansion, you go to the shard called the First, which is on the brink of being taken over by Light. So they do some interplay between those two shards in this patch, which is very nice because the entire purpose of it is like trying to figure out how to do cross rift traveling to go and visit the shards on our own terms instead of being dragged to them by magical means, and trying to restore the 13th shard into being a natural world again instead of being over polluted by darkness, and try and restore the balance. And all of the stuff around that's very nice. They introduce a new character named Zero, who is she's a void sent from the 13th, which is basically just like a demonic entity that doesn't really understand how human condition works. So a lot of this patch cycle is her learning how to be more human. And I've seen a lot of people didn't like her, but I kind of really enjoyed seeing her like come to terms with humanity and take lessons from all of the characters that you've been helping throughout the Endwalker expansion. And yeah, generally the dungeons that were in this patch were very fun. The boss fights were the best for Endwalker so far. And it was a good patch quest overall. Probably like my favorite patch quest storyline besides Heavensward's Warrior of Darkness storyline.
I have no like context for that being good or bad, but
it's Final Fantasy 14. It's shit.
You've only played the bad part of it.
Yeah, once you get through the first part, man. Yeah, once you get through the first 100 hours, then it really starts getting good.
Unironically.
I don't even think A Realm Reborn is that bad. Like, it's mind-numbing at times.
It's not that bad. It's literally go from point A to point B, read
worse.
A bunch of fucking cutscenes because none of them are fucking voiced or anything. You could literally get out half of those fucking quests and you'd probably got a fucking video game there. I'll admit, the last 5 hours are not too bad.
I don't think it's even like
because
just
it's
the
got
last
fucking
5
cutscenes
hours.
in there. Sorry?
I think there's more than just the last 5 hours.
The last 5 hours of the cutscene. Sorry, the last 5 hours of the patch fucking quest.
Yeah, no, I think there's more than that.
Yep. When was the last time you played it? Probably 14 years ago.
I play A Realm Reborn content all the time because of dailies.
But you play the content all the time, but you're not forced to go through the actual storyline because, the good bit's coming. The good bit's coming. You know what? The good bit's not coming, Steph. I want my 50 hours back, man.
No. Spend another 50
I
playing
begged,
Heavensward.
I pleaded. I threw myself, and I had to do unspeakable things with
Go on,
what's his name from Xbox?
Finish that sentence.
Phil
I threw
Spencer?
myself and did with Phil Spencer to get Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox, and this is what I get.
Also, fun facts: Dawn Trail came out and it's got a lot of problems on Xbox specifically.
Us Xbox gamers cannot get a break. I didn't realize how lucky we were to not have. Phil was doing us a favor by not giving us that garbage.
Nah, you just need to get to the good parts.
Whatever. Move on. They literally blood pressure is. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
At the very least, I'm glad he didn't story skip it, because story skipping A Realm Reborn is a crime punishable by death.
Oh no, I'd rather kill myself than skip any content of a video game. But I'm putting the time in. Might as well put the time in properly. Maybe I should have.
No.
Maybe actually the problem was I didn't have my glasses, so I couldn't see it being a good game. Highly unlikely, but. So anyway, do you rate Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trader? Isn't Dawn Trader the the boat from Narnia?
Yeah,
it is. Don't lie to me. I've read those books.
Yeah, you got it.
So if you were listening, I wasn't reviewing Dawn Trail. I was reviewing the Endwalker patches.
Sucks to suck, huh?
I wasn't listening.
But yeah,
Right,
Endwalker patches very enjoyable. I love Final Fantasy 4, so this did just cribbing from that. Very enjoyable for me. 8 out of 10.
Nice.
And I will come back with Dawn Trail stuff when I finish that at the end of the month.
Not listening. Skipping.
BRB skipping.
So you want to skip the one that has the trans voice actress, huh?
I just want to skip Final Fantasy 14. It's not a good game, man. Don't try to get me fucking cancelled.
Can't believe you would do this during Pride Month.
It's not Pride Month anymore, big fella. I knew you guys.
Oh, wow. So suddenly you no longer care about Pride because it's no longer June. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't see color.
Terrible response. Straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Do not play Final Fantasy 14.
Fair enough.
You have to play Final Fantasy 14. It's a punishment now.
That's hell. That is hell. You're right there.
You arrive at hell and Satan's just the biggest Final Fantasy 14 fan and just won't shut up.
It's just
like me, for real, for real.
It's just Saif.
Do you want me to go back to the start of the podcast where I didn't shut the fuck up about Stranger of Paradise?
No. Hex is a commercial, Pat.
The strangers are wet? Alright, is that everyone's Round the Lounge segment for this week out of the way? I think so.
Yeah, it is.
And with that, we come to the end of Round the Lounge this week. Thank you to you both. As always, we get to move on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news. And starting with, I think I learned my lesson from last time, Saif. You ready? Hunter X Hunter.
Yes.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, there we go. Nen, and I'm assuming this one's silent, Impact character trailers.
Closest cross.
Fuck.
50% catch rate. You'll get there next time, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, gotta keep
Why'd
trying.
they make it so
trying.
confusing? I don't know how to name things. It doesn't matter.
Marchi and... Okay, they're really just fucking with me with names now. Uvojin?
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Who can say?
You know,
Steven is the Hunter X Hunter
Enjoyer.
Yeah.
I've only read it though, so Ovugan, maybe that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. It's good. Well, these characters, Machi especially, is a literal who. But
it was very funny watching these trailers when they were announced because these two characters were announced at CEO, the fighting game tournament, and literally no one was reacting to the Machi trailer. Like, they had the crowd microphones on, and you just heard people coughing or like a couple of woos here and there. But
yeah, a literal who character. Evogan kind of he exists for a little bit and just get bodies by Kurapika in like 3-4 seconds.
From what I understand, Biscuit was the one everyone wanted, and she's already been announced. So everyone else is just kind of like, who cares now?
Yeah, they're showing all the people they want. Unless they can do... I don't think they've announced that insect person from the insect arc.
The Chimera Ants
it doesn't
arc.
matter.
Imagine calling someone an insect person.
They are literally an insect person. Like, I literally cannot express enough how much of an insect person they are. But yeah, like, cool, whatever. I don't care about this game. I'm probably not gonna get it or play it.
The game continues to look good. Still surprised it's coming out this year and there's no release date.
You got 6 more months. It'll come out when it's ready.
I say let them cook. They need it.
Let them hunt?
X hunt?
No, the X is silent. It's cross hunt.
Nen Impacts.
Oh, I thought it was like an adult. I thought it was an adult game, and they're just missing out 2 of the X's.
Bits run its course. Let's move on.
Agreed. Next up, we have Arc System Works. Creating Arc System Works Europe.
This one I'm happy about because Arc System Works has had a problem with publishing
Arc
games.
System Works? Well, I sure hope it does.
Better luck next time, big fella.
It's good to be the king.
They've had a lot of problems in the past publishing games in PAL territories. So hopefully this is just like a way for them to overcome that hurdle.
A way to escape the PAL zone.
Because they had a branch in America, so they could just self-publish in America, but they've always had to rely on like Namco Bandai or someone else to pick up their games in European and Australian releases. So finally overcoming that hurdle and being like, yeah, no, we can just self-publish in European territories now is nice.
Cool. Yeah, well, always a fan of better self-determination, so hope it goes well for them.
But it's in Paris, France. So sacre bleu.
And off with your head.
And what does that mean in American, Steve?
What does it mean in non-racist?
I think yes, a reference to the French election results. Very funny. I think it means blue is sacred. Because it's like sacre, which is sacred, and then blue, which is the color blue. So it's blue is sacred.
But what about cheese?
What about cheese? That's the thing you say when you get your picture taken. I don't know what you're doing, Pat.
Fair enough. We will move on. Next up, we have an interesting chat with talking about like the difference between Soul Calibur and Tekken, both of which run by Bandai Namco. Specifically, Harada, the Tekken director, talking about the differences between Tekken and Soul Calibur and why we haven't really seen much of Soul Calibur since 2018. Which I don't know why. I feel like this is one of those games that like I think of Soul Calibur and go, oh yeah, that's a game that came out like 2 years ago.
I feel the
problem with Soul
Calibur
Calibur is the problem with Soul Calibur was that they peaked at Soul Calibur 3 and then they've tried to do a bunch of stuff with 4, 5, and 6. They've been like fucking mid as balls.
6 was good. 6 was like a reset to try and go back to how Soul Calibur 2 was.
Maybe in terms of gameplay, it kind of was.
But 6 was also good because 6 was trying to be 2.
Yeah.
Well,
and awesome. 2 is like, Steven says 3, but for a lot of people 2 is the peak.
3 was really good because it had like, I think it was just when it came out like a bajillion years ago, it had like a really good character creator. It had like a weird original story. That
but 2 had Link.
No, it didn't have Spawn.
No, you played the wrong version.
Played the right version, my friend. So for those playing along at home, Soul Calibur 2 had different characters depending on which version you played it on. So if you played it on the GameCube, you had Link as a guest character. But if you played it on an Xbox, you got Spawn, like the DC superhero, which is always fucking weird.
He's not DC.
Which one had Master Chief?
No one had Master Chief. That's Halo.
Yeah, PS2 got Heihachi Mishima. Which was a weird one. Yeah, it's a weird one because the others are like outside of fighting game sphere, unless you want to count Smash for Link. And then Heihachi is just like, yeah, no, we couldn't outsource anyone else, so we just grabbed another Namco character.
Interesting they did that for the fucking PlayStation. They had so many options.
It's like,
anyway, it doesn't matter.
At that time, Tekken was PlayStation exclusive.
Here comes Swordman. Oh boy.
Yeah, another anime swordsman.
But yeah, so to kind of get to why the Tekken director Harada is kind of reading between the lines of what he's saying, it's kind of seems that Soul Calibur kind of fell off because there's no like leader or strategic vision for it, which I can kind of appreciate, and him being very open and honest as well. It's kind of he does say that like the developers and the Project Soul is what they call it internally. He does kind of say that the developers and the people behind that are really good. There's just there's no leadership.
Yeah, but a lot of the people that spearheaded Soul Calibur in the past have moved on from Namco Bandai, so it's like it's up to someone to go and pick up the mantle for Soul Calibur and try and revive it, but there's no one at the moment because either they're busy or they're just not interested. And he does say that there are younger developers on the team that are interested in doing another Soul Calibur. It's just going to become a timing thing at this point now because Tekken 8 just released this year, and he's been the Tekken guy. Like he goes out of his way to say he got promoted to certain positions and then he broke the rules to go back down positions to direct the games because the way Japanese work culture works, he wasn't going to be allowed to do that. He was going to be like a full marketing analyst sort of guy, and he he had to jump through hoops to keep Tekken going. It's a very interesting read, but it's also long as fuck. He basically wrote a short novel about the history of Tekken and Soul Calibur.
It's a cool look behind the scenes, though.
It is. It's very appreciated. It just sucks that it's formatted by reading it on a Twitter thread. Not even a Twitter thread, it's a Twitter post.
Yeah, with a bunch of fucking novels in it. I got about halfway through it and I'm like, yeah, words.
I got halfway through it and I didn't even get halfway through it. I got like a third of the way through and I was like, I'm interested to see how far down I am in this now. Started scrolling, I'm like, oh god, I'm not even halfway through. But I didn't finish it. I didn't read the whole thing.
It is interesting kind of seeing his actual thoughts, and he's actually, it's obviously like a genuine, honest opinion, and this does sort of read like a person that kind of wants someone to pick up Soul Calibur, but there is no one to pick it up, which is, I don't know, I'm an ideas guy. Maybe if Bandai Namco gets me on the line, I can do a couple of things, but look, between just us fellas, yeah. The fucking jiggle physics in Soul Calibur really need to. They wouldn't survive in this day and age. No, it wouldn't. It's
Dead or Alive survives.
It's
kind of. They haven't had a new game in a while, but the last games they did sold pretty well. And the Extreme Beach Volleyball game on mobile is still going well.
Oh, big surprise! The gacha game's going well. With Dead or Alive characters, I'm shocked. But like, there's no way to. Look, even when Soul Calibur 2, I was playing that fucking a million years ago, like nearly 20 years ago now. Even back then, I was like, people's bodies don't move like this. Like,
Ivy's best costumes were always the ones where she was covered up more.
Interesting that you'd bring up Ivy.
Because her default costume is literally just strings across her body.
It is. It's fucking. I honestly don't know how they fucking get away with it these days, which is probably why they don't have a game. But it's. I'm very interested for another Soul Calibur. Let's be real. I want one. That's probably one of my favorite fighting games, simply because it's probably my earliest fighting game. Shout out to my homeboy Killick. He was with the fucking bow, just poking people. How funny was that? But doesn't seem like it's soon.
No, this will probably come out in a few years if they do another Soul Calibur. I think it's an eventuality it'll happen. They just got to give Tekken some room to breathe and go through its motions with new season passes first. And then once sales starts declining a little bit on Tekken, they go, okay, here's Soul Calibur. New game.
Unless they keep just doing Tekken and do Tekken 9 or something. Who knows?
I feel like fighting games at this point are like once a generation release. Because they've essentially become live service games that last the entire console generation.
Ugh, I hate to hear it, don't you, Saif? You hate to hear it.
Tekken 7 was 10 years old before Tekken 8 came out.
Really?
I don't like that, but I was waiting for that to come up, yeah.
I think, I'm pretty sure the arcade release of Tekken 7 was 2014.
Yeah, I think we brought this up when we were talking about Tekken 8, which I know was at the start of the year, but that feels like a while ago now.
Oh yeah, it does. It does feel like a little while ago now, that one. There's been so many fucking releases since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was glad to see this thread come up from her radar.
Good to move on?
Good to move on.
Good to move on to another Soul Calibur game.
Okay. I hold that thought.
I reckon they do like a complete reboot. Like they don't even call it Soul Calibur 7. They just call it Soul Calibur. That's the Steven take. Sorry,
Patrick. I'm sorry. I remembered something that isn't on the docket, and I'm just going to throw it in here since it's fighting game related. 2XKO has its closed beta signups going on at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you go to the website, you can sign up for that. I've already done it. And that closed beta will go on in August. They're going to
also have an. You go. You finish your thing. I'll go to my thing.
They're going to have a playable build at Evo, and whatever is in that playable build at Evo is going to be what is playable on the beta test.
Okay, now my turn. There is a demo that just came online today for Kinitsugami Path of the
We were
Goddess.
going to get to that later.
Oh, were we?
Yeah, it's
It's
in the
on the
Capcom
docket.
list.
Yeah, well,
Seth,
Just as
Seth,
Capcom
I
here.
fucking told you that bears don't read. I fucking told you.
He got the glasses so he could.
Okay,
Anyway,
he could
does-
read,
yeah.
but he's illiterate.
I was too busy being a bear.
But no, he's brought it up now.
You
Might
would've-
as well mention it now.
Well, then you
Yeah,
guys,
might as well.
are accessories to being a bear.
Would you say that we're the
That's-
bear accessories? The simple bear accessories? Forget about
so
your
the
worries and your
original
strife.
Resident Evil trilogy is coming
No,
to
go
GOG.
back to Kunitsugami because I had more to say about that, actually. And you
Oh,
brought it
there's
up
a demo
now.
for Kinitsu. Got him started. Sorry, my dear listeners. Yeah, so Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess has a demo that's just come out. I am currently in the process of downloading this demo.
I played
and
the
we'll play it in
tutorial
the next
level
coming
earlier.
days. Played the tutorial level, yep. Mad.
Yeah.
Did it tell you to what to do if someone asks?
We
I
are
got
on
some
the
of that
topic of
catalyst.
talking about this game. I do not have to be asked to say I played it.
What'd you think about the tutorial?
It's pretty fun. The tutorial
Yeah,
itself
maybe
is
save it
like
for around the
very.
lounge.
The
Jesus,
tutorial,
man.
I didn't put it on Round Lounge because it's not worth bringing up just for a tutorial level. But yeah, no, the tutorial level is very simple. It just kind of takes you through the basics, but it seems like it's going to be an interesting game. I'll play through a little bit more to try and get a better idea of it. And this seems like the type of game that's going to be hard to talk about, so having a demo for people to check out will do it a lot of good. Also, they announced that there's going to be Okami collaboration stuff, and if enough people play and work towards like this online statistics thing, they'll release the Okami stuff for free on day one.
As part of that sim announcement, because we might as well just hit the rest of it at once, Dead Rising getting a remaster, which... Do you guys ever play Dead Rising 1?
I played it a little bit, but I played 2 a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I played a shit ton of 2. And then I think community agrees with me that it started falling off after 2. I think 3 was okay, but similar to 2, and then 4 was just god-awful, if memory serves.
3 was like apparently tonally a bit too self-serious, and then 4 like kind of ruined Frank West as a character.
Yeah,
And
that
they
sounds
haven't
about
been
right.
able to tell, they don't know what to do with Dead Rising after that besides just re-release the original 2 over and over again.
They are
I
so
remember-
fucking good games, but holy shit.
Yeah, I remember, because I think there was something about it being Xbox. Was it Xbox exclusive for 3 and 4? Am
3 was
am I crazy?
Xbox exclusive the entire
One-
time. 4
3 was
released
an
on
Xbox One
Xbox.
launch title as well.
Yeah, 4 was Xbox exclusive, but then ended up coming to everything else.
That sounds
4 was
better,
fucking
but-
weird.
Yeah, because I remember Dev Diaries, because they talked about how, like, okay, we made some mistakes with Dead Rising 3, we're going to do better with Dead Rising 4, and then all the Dev Diaries, it's the same. It's probably, you look back on it now, it's probably one of the first videos that started that trend, but it's like the we wanted to do something that brings in and cherishes all of the beloved fans of the series, but we also want to bring in the new people, we want to bring in the new fans. And I'm sure there are games that have walked that line correctly, but it seems like so many times when devs say that, it's, hey, here's a clusterfuck of a game that no one likes.
It can get that way, but there's been some decent ones, but yeah, it feels like the games that do the best are basically the ones that are just like, yeah, no, we're confident in what we're doing, and if people will just pick it up.
Yeah, and then what's really funny is I've been fucking Stockholmed into that with Monster Hunter, where I'm pretty sure I even said this last episode, where World was first announced, and I went, oh, that's not the original format. Oh, who the fuck are they making this for? Then it comes out, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird and like close-in camera and way too much like on this like third-person action adventure type shit. Like, where's my classic Monster Hunter experience? And I play it, and I'm like, I get it now. I'd like to formally apologize to Capcom. Here is all of my money and my firstborn child. Please give me Iceborne on PC sooner rather than later. Okay, thanks, bye.
Can we get that same revelation happening for Dead Rising 5?
Oh, big ask. Big ask. Anyway, spending way too long on Dead Rising, but it's more to say, I played a shit ton of 2. I'm kind of interested in people saying whether Dead Rising 1 is a good time or not, but
I don't know if I'll get this. I think I
enough.
own Dead Rising 1 remaster or like the original version already, and this new version, I don't know, it just looks visually, art style wise, it looks worse than the original to me. Like it's fully higher fidelity, but everything just kind of looks wrong and worse. Except for the zombies. The zombies look really nice.
Yeah.
Got a weird change to it, yeah.
This is how long I've had Dead Rising 2 for. I don't even know if I can play it anymore because I'd need to launch Games for Windows Live to launch it.
Oh yeah, no, that's just a problem that's fucked across all Capcom games that had Games for Windows Live. Dead Right. On Steam, I have Dead Rising 2 off the record.
I've got all 4 of them. They're pretty good.
That's the Frank West DLC, isn't it? A standalone DLC.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is. So man. I think I've got the original 2 on PlayStation instead.
Anyway, what else did they announce? They announced Resident Evil 7 Biohazard coming to iOS and Mac.
But more importantly, the Resident Evil 7 director is going to be working on Resident Evil 9.
Was Resident Evil 7 good? I can't remember.
I haven't played it, but that was the one that got everyone back in after Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, that's
Resident Evil 6 is no good, yeah.
Isn't it crazy that we're just dealing with like such high sequel numbers at this point? Like Saif talking about Final Fantasy fucking 7,000 or whatever, and Resident Evil like 14 million.
And then don't forget all the spin-offs in the middle. And then the spin-offs have their own sequels.
Very true. Anyway, anything else from the Capcom recap?
No, that's about it. They didn't really have much to show there. They're like, yeah, no, here's a couple of things we're releasing this year specifically.
Because next year it's all Monster Hunter, baby.
Yep.
Next up we have Resident Evil 1 coming to GOG, and Resident Evil 2 and 3 coming soon.
This is nice. Having the originals available is very appreciated. The remakes are awesome. The originals are also supposed to be very awesome. So just having them available on modern PCs is very, very nice for keeping them alive.
I think a lot of this has been pulling people back in after the success of I'm going to get this wrong. Was it a remake or a remaster? Remake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of Resident Evil buzzing around. That's cool.
Is there a genuine reason you want to play the old games as opposed to the remakes? Like, genuine question here.
Yeah, to experience the original versions.
But do you want to experience the original versions?
Yeah. Like me specifically, or like a general people?
Like a general, me, someone who has never played.
Does Steve think that you're people?
So there is an appeal to the old style tank controls and puzzle solving of the original Resident Evils compared to like how the series is now, especially since the 2 and 3 remake are actually just brand new third person shooter style ones, and they've got story changes, like very, very minor ones, but they do exist. So yeah, there's definitely reason to go back to these.
Yeah, I don't know. As someone that like hasn't even mainly experienced the Resident Evil series, just hear people talk about it. It's just weird to be like, oh, look, they've completely remade 2 and 3, and they're probably going to remake 1. Like, are they? Like, why would you buy the first 3? But like, maybe it's just for fans or weirdos or something.
I don't want them to remake 1 again. They've got to do 0 first.
Hang on. You're gonna. I don't want to sit here and lecture about how a video game company is not going to remake a video game.
I'm not saying they're not going to. Eventually. I'm saying I don't want it.
They're not going to remake Pokemon games. Are they? Who knows?
They're not going to remake Battle Frontier.
There is no Battle Frontier. Get over it.
I can't.
Everyone hates
Steve.
post-game.
I can't.
They hate the video game community as well. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Yeah, I want to get into the Resident Evil, but I won't.
Old game good.
Remake of old game.
Remake of old game with DLC like they promised. Better.
They didn't promise anything.
They did. They said it was coming. There's the sign.
No,
if you go to the Battle Frontier, there's the sign.
It's,
And this
it's
is
still
Battle
being
Frontier coming
built.
soon.
It's still being built.
Yeah, and the Delta episode should have happened with it building.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. I know it's sparking, but it's so much more fun to say sparkling. Sparkling Zero Sword versus Fist trailer. Which one you picking? Which
Sword.
Saif. Ooh, okay, interesting. Steve.
Gun.
You can't bring a gun to
put
a
in-
knife fight.
Watch me.
You put in
You
the
can't bring a
secret,
sword to a knife fight then either. You're going to be like that?
A sword is just a big knife.
Or is a knife a small sword? Anyway,
Questions for
so
another
they've announced
time.
The real question is the pen mightier than the gun?
No.
So they've
What are you
announced
going to do?
11
Ride on the
more-
bullet?
So they've announced like a couple more new characters for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. How do you fucking pronounce that game?
Sparkling.
And our favorite
exclamation
boy
point is an L.
Yajirobe finally got announced. So our favorite samurai.
Our favorite
in
Gel
Dragon Ball
Ribrianne got
universe.
announced.
Nobody knows who that is, man.
She's a Dragon Ball super character who is a joke against magical Gel tropes.
Is it a joke or is it actually just them running out of ideas? But we also got Goku Black Super Saiyan Rose. We got Goku Super Ultra Instinct Sign. So this game's
We got
fucking- We all
Dabura.
knew this. I just don't understand why there's so many fucking Gokus. Can't they just give them a different transformation?
Because
but yeah,
Ultra
this
Instinct
game-
Shaggy is still locked in multiverses.
They wouldn't let him be in this game. His power's too strong. Like it trivialized the game.
No, we still got plenty
But yeah,
of
like-
character slots left to reveal. It could happen.
Yeah, then
Imagine.
they're doing another thing like next week sometime. But yeah, let's not spend too much time talking about this. This game's coming out. They're announcing new characters. It looks fucking sick.
They're also showing that there's going to be more giants than just great apes because they got the literal Who Analaza from Dragon Ball Super. A character I literally actually forgot about existing.
Can I remember that?
Literally.
Oh
who?
yeah, the
He's the fusion of like 3 or 4 different universe free androids.
he looks very much like there was like one of those overs planned to eradicate the Saiyans. Looks very much like-
Hachiyak, I think his name was.
Yeah, Hachiyak. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Looks very. When I first saw him, I'm like, oh, it's that person, but it's not.
Still
Pretty
no
long,
movie or GT characters announced yet.
Yeah. Didn't they announce movie Broly?
Yeah, but that's technically Dragon Ball Super still. I mean, like Dragon Ball Z movies, the non-canon ones.
No, Dragon. I swear they've got the original Broly. That's what I mean. Not.
No,
new
I don't
Broly.
think they do.
They don't. Oh, okay, that's a shame.
Yeah, no,
Well, whatever.
they don't have Dragon Ball Z Broly. They have Kale.
The
Yeah,
vegetable?
fucking. Yeah, but that's. Wait until you hear what Goku Saiyan name is. Carrot.
Was there
Okay.
a follow-up?
No, we're good to move on now.
I thought I'd literally dropped out. That silence was deafening, my friends.
Well, even better Dragon Ball fans. Try that again. Even better news for the Dragon Ball fans. The Breakers Season 6.
Hell
did not realize-
game still
I-
lives.
I was going to say, did not realize we were at Season 6.
3 times as many seasons as Babylon's Fall. That pause was literally me trying to remember the name.
That was me as well. It's just like, oh man, he's gonna make it. And then I went, what was the name of the game?
But yeah, season 6 has Baby Vegeta joining the roster of villains you can play as. That's about all I have to say about it. I'd say I'd give it a try, but the last time I tried to play the Breakers, it took me 20 minutes to find my first match, and then I couldn't find a second.
Don't play it.
rough.
I don't know why you fucking play that game. You know, it's
Actually,
not
I
a good
think they
game.
added crossplay, so maybe I could find a match now.
Ooh, hold on.
I
Let him
think you
cross.
will, man.
No, I genuinely
What
think
about
playing
instead
as the
What
villains in
about
this is
instead of
fun.
playing Dragon Ball Breakers, you played Dragon Ball Freakers, and instead of searching for a match, you sucked my toes.
Right. We get to move on.
Yeah, Dragon Ball The Break is better than Sparking Zero because it's giving us GT content. There, I said it.
You heard it here first. Concord, which we talked about during one of the ginormous list episodes because it was one of the ones announced at the absolute state of play. At least I think that was the announcement. It's getting a beta set for July 12th to 14th, and then an open beta for 18 to 21. Sorry, the first one's early access beta, and then the open beta 18 to 21.
Yeah, as avid listeners of the podcast would remember, I said I'd probably throw down $10 to pre-order the game to try it out because at that time, they only ever mentioned the closed beta. But now that they've said there's going to be an open beta, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to try it out on the open beta weekend to see how the game plays and if I'd be interested.
Have you been keeping up with, I don't know if they've done much more announcements beyond the announcements of this beta, but any part of this that's exciting you beyond what you saw in the announcement set?
I wouldn't even say I'm excited. I'm just intrigued to know how this plays, kind of. I want to see what a Sony first-party FPS looks like.
Yeah, fair enough.
This
The
looks dog
only
shit.
thing that they've announced,
Just say it, man.
the only thing they've announced since that state of play was that this is going to be the same price as Helldivers 2 when it comes out. So they've made the correct decision. They're not charging full price for it.
It's this game's dog shit, guys. Why
How
are
do
there
you
so
know? You
many
haven't
hero
played
shooters?
it.
I hate heroes. Very true, but I can guess. Look, if I walk across the street and I see dog shit on the road, I don't need to taste it to know it's dog shit.
I'm intrigued because it's a hero shooter, but I don't think it's a objective hero shooter like Overwatch and that Marvel game is going to be. I think this is actually just a team-based, like a team deathmatch style hero shooter, which is a little more interesting for me to check out. Because no one ever plays the fucking objective.
You're very true there, my friend. We'll see what happens.
Good to move on
Very-
again.
Yeah, let's good move on.
Fair
I feel like we need to
enough.
give Patrick the signal now.
Shadow of the Erdtree getting its first DLC patch, which, if we're patching DLC, is that patch also DLC?
Yes?
Potentially, I guess.
No, because the DLC is
Question for
coming.
the
The
comments.
DLC content isn't a patch anyway. So it's just still a patch to the main game. The DLC is just something you have to pay for.
It's a patch to the DLC. It's a patch to D's nuts.
There
Fuck,
we go.
Here we go. Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a funny story behind this one because Shadow of the Erdtree came out to critical praise. Every reviewer loved it, and
And then it got review bombed.
it got review bombed for being too hard, which is funny because people that play games generally say that game journalists cannot play hard video games and that they all suck at them. So it's funny to see those same people come out and go, no, the game journalists are fucking psychos. They only ever want hard games. We need something more manageable.
It's so funny how the turntables.
Never have I seen something get 180'd so hard.
Well,
But
who would have
it's-
thought
it's
hard game hard?
unfortunate.
And people don't like hard game hard.
It's unfortunate because now that this patch is out, I will never finish Shadow of the Erdtree. Like, it's just like the Radahn situation. I didn't beat the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need to find the unpatched version. You need to mod it to get the unpatched version to get the real experience.
Exactly. It's not even that much of a difference. It's like there's a system where you go around and you collect a collectible, and they increase your attack and defense by 0.5 values until you get to. No, not even that. You get like 20 level ups, and then by the time you do all 20 of those level ups, you've doubled your damage and doubled your defense. Because this is an open world game, and it was going to be hard to try and navigate around the level curve people might have going into this. Especially since
Pretty
there's
smart
people
way
that
of doing it.
Yeah, I think so too. So what they've done is that the patch increases all of those increments by 0.05 for every level. So it's not a huge deal. Early game it matters a lot more, and it's helped some people get past bosses that they might have been stuck on for a little bit, but by end game it's negligible.
Look,
Oh well. It's a shame that we're not true gamers, guys. We have to turn in our gamer pass.
I know. Unfortunate.
What-
I should have
what-
played this before
what if
we
it
played
was-
Final Fantasy 14.
True.
look. Let me put on my gamers all right hat on for a moment.
I
No,
really thought he was going to say his wizard's hat. I was very scared.
Don't say it.
Oh, I should have put on the wizard's hat. Is it the speed of which this patch came out? Do you reckon that like they've just got some sort of the people that are testing this game within From Software are actually really good at the game? Is that potentially the problem?
No, because even game reviewers were fine with it. And they're not sitting there
Game-
testing the game.
Well, game reviewers have to, because there was that whole thing about game reviewers not even playing games, so they've gone the other way. So now they're really good at games.
They
and
every
then
game
get-
reviewer
Yeah,
is
that's
handed
essentially
the
how I
controller.
started this segment, Stephen.
Yeah, I know, and I'm repeating it. It's a sandwich. This section is a sandwich.
Oh boy,
But
here
what I'm
we go.
saying is, you know what? Whatever. Just move on. This is a silly game. anyway.
Every game reviewer suddenly handed the controller to their brother.
They locked in. They leaned forward on the couch.
I can't believe they were leaning back for 20 years.
I can't believe that journalist that couldn't beat the Cuphead tutorial finally locked in and just crushed Shadow of Erdtree without losing a single life.
Every time probably every 6 months I see that video and it literally does my fucking head in. We've all been there though. We've all been there.
No,
You that
not
hasn't
there,
double
not
jumped.
there specifically, because it literally says on screen what to do.
I haven't played Cuphead. Hope this helps.
You are the Cuphead.
Jump
Hang on,
and
let him
dash. Not dash and jump. Not
Even the
jump dash. Not jump and do nothing.
was it
All right.
was it
Seth,
a
you're being
bird
really
or a
aggressive.
small monkey that figured it out
I
just by randomly pressing buttons?
I remember seeing a video that was like a bird figured out how to get a treat faster than he figured that out.
Maybe it was the bird thing. Either way, it was him versus something. It was probably the bird. Anyway, very funny, very funny. We'll move on.
Ligma.
Anyway, yeah. So anyone that didn't beat Shadow of the Erdtree by the time this comes out, turn in your gamer passes. Hand them to Stephen for
So he says it to you.
Nope. I'll hand it to Mike.
Thank you for spiking the alley oop, Seth.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
And speaking of things that people are here for, Ubisoft is apparently only here to create even more Assassin's Creed.
Not just Assassin's Creeds, Assassin's Creed remakes.
Yep. To be honest, I probably would be okay with a remake with a remake of 2, just so I can experience
Assassin's
the
Creed 4.
absolute desolation I felt when I didn't get all of Petruchio's feathers and therefore missed out the platinum trophy.
Oh yeah. But the second time it's the second time in the second episode we've heard this story. Yeah, I got it.
And I'm still upset. Leave me alone. Let me.
I got it
go
on
ahead
my
and play
old
the game.
PSN. I have to do it again on my new one. Will I? No.
Does your old PSN go to a different school?
No, it's still on my PlayStation 5. I need it there so I can use all my old PlayStation Plus games that are locked on that account.
I'm not going to bother asking. It doesn't surprise. Look, to be honest, it doesn't surprise me that Ubisoft hasn't already done this type of stuff because they like money.
Guys, we're missing the point of this. The point of this is that way they get to re-release Black Flag and then they can call it Skull and Bones.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and it will probably
Are they also going to take 10 years to do that?
Bones.
Yes. And then it's going to come out and they've actually butchered it and they're taking all the soul out of it. Yeah, 100%. You know what?
There's no more sea
That's
shanties.
probably what they do. Oh, fuck. You know they're gonna remaster these games and just take out the soul from them. So who fucking cares?
They remake Assassin's Creed 1 they remake Assassin's Creed 1 and you do more than just stalk and eavesdrop people.
Yeah, I was going to say, they remake Assassin's Creed 1 and they just really hone in on the gameplay where you're only doing follow missions.
No, they add to the game. It's not just that. And like they make it more like Assassin's Creed 2 where there's an actual video game there. No, that's not how I want to experience Assassin's Creed 1, thank you very much.
Assassin's Creed 1, but they just put in like a shit ton of puzzles for some reason.
Assassin's Creed 1, but they put in all those feathers.
Actually, no, they had something like that. They had something like that in Assassin's Creed 1.
They had flags,
yes,
yeah.
That's right.
And then 4 games later, they bring out Black Flag.
It really makes you think.
But for Assassin's Creed 2, they could just take out like the double hidden blade things. Fuck, that was cool.
I remember how cool it was seeing the hidden blade itself was already a cool idea, and then Assassin's Creed 2 comes out, like they start showing it off 2 years later, and it's like this guy in the second game has 2 hidden blades, and everyone's like, losing their mind. Way. Same thing happened with Kingdom Hearts.
And then they go to Assassin's Creed 3 and they say Connor has 3 hidden blades. Everyone, what the fuck are you doing?
Everyone was expecting that, and then they're like, no, he's got a tomahawk.
Oh, that's right, that was cool. And 360 tomahawks across the map.
It was actually a really cool tomahawk because it used the Assassin's Creed emblem as the blade, the handle cool. of it. Kind
of defeated the point of the being in a secretive order that no one knows about, though. Of just hey, is this your clearly Illuminati style melee weapon?
Well, they didn't know it was the Illuminati back then. They didn't have the internet and real YouTube videos to show them.
They didn't have AI on Google searches to tell you that Italy isn't real.
I don't think about often enough how Assassin's Creed 3's best moments was the first 2 hours of that game when you're not playing as Connor, but you're playing as his father, who is actually part of the Illuminati.
The Templar. What a fucking twist that was. I knew that twist was coming because I played the game 2 years later and I got it spoiled, and it still fucking rattled me. Man, what a game.
I played that game day one, and that was so good when they revealed that.
That, and as soon as you get off the boat,
there as well. Oh.
You as soon as you get off the boat, you can go and just gamble all your money away with the guy on the dock.
I don't remember that because I'm not a degenerate gambler. Maybe Ubisoft's onto something here. Maybe they should remake all these Assassin's Creed games.
No, they shouldn't. They should just release them on modern platforms as they are.
True.
Maybe a resolution bump. Actually, no, not even that, because I saw how they butchered Assassin's Creed 2's remaster.
Did they actually remaster Assassin's Creed 2?
Yeah. And it looked god-awful.
Huh.
All of the NPCs, trilogy?
Yeah, that was the Ezio collection, and all the NPCs look like they have melting wax faces.
Yes. I do remember this. I just hope that they keep my favorite mechanic in any Assassin's Creed game, which is I'm going to take out this big-ass fuck-off two-handed weapon, turn around from the enemy that I want to hit, target the dude on the roof on a different building, charge up the double-handed attack, and then watch it boomerang backwards up onto the roof and kill him. When I found that mechanic, that's the only way I killed people for 3 hours.
Assassin's Creed at its peak was so good.
Oh, so good. That and you can fall from any height as long as you slam your kneecap into a tiny ledge.
Or if you grab onto a brick on the side of the house. Assassin's Creed also gave me intense vertigo whenever I jumped off high places.
Actually, yeah, I get the same thing. Yeah, like when you're jumping into the haystacks after the leap, after the eagle eye thing.
Yeah, or if I miss like if I accidentally jump off a roof wrong and I just start falling towards the ground, it just feels like my stomach drops.
But simply be Rico from Just Cause and grapple hook into the ground after falling, and then you're fine.
God, we need a new Just Cause.
See, I disagree.
We need a new Just Cause 2 quality game.
Even Just Cause 3 was still pretty good, but Just Cause 4, something goes wrong when the mechanics are such that a basic car that you take can barely make it up a regular road in the game world.
Unfortunate. Maybe they should have made a proper game.
Yeah. Speedruns for Just Cause are still very fun. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Anyway, so overall, I think we've talked ourselves into actually being massive fans of Ubisoft re-releasing Skull and Bones 2, also known as remade Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
No.
Finally, our first quintuple A game.
Can you imagine? It's like, it's just like every time he gets asked about it, he just adds another A. You see, you don't get it because the fifth A stands for assassin.
How many A's are going to be in that classification by the time Beyond Good and Evil 2 comes out?
Game's not real.
I say at least 7 A's.
All right, move on. I've had enough. Had enough.
Steven said he's had enough, and fair enough. Would you say that you've completely had enough, or you're still open for a bit more of like a limited run type thing? Well, it's good that you say that, because Limited Run Games has announced over 20 new physical releases at Limited Run Games 2024.
God, I hate limited run games.
Good to move on.
You want to ask me?
Because they are in a good. How do I say this? Like, what's the word I'm looking for?
You're having a stroke, big fella. Take a breath.
Their entire business model.
Don't say the Steven word.
Their entire business model is trying to cash in on the collector's markets.
Oh, you.
So that's why Seth hates them.
The personal attack.
When Seth sees collector's editions, he wake. When he sees collector's editions from Limited Run Games, he sleep.
I am a sucker for collector's editions, but I think just generally the game should have a normal print run and not a collector's limited print run. Like just for a regular game release. So I'm going to talk about some of these new ones that are coming. Like, this one shouldn't have a release at all. Bubsy in the Perfect Collection, that should not exist, but that's a game that Limited Run Games announced and is going to be something that they print in a limited form. The Gex Trilogy is probably something that would have been nice to have as a normal print run rather than a limited one. And that's it. That's the only two I wanted to bring up.
Any from you, Steve?
No, nothing for me. I don't care.
Yeah, this is all nothing really in here. Like G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra, I swear that's got to be such an old game at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It's not even a good game.
Also, double checking the list, they mention Lollipop Chainsaw is one of the games that they're going to have.
Repop.
Which I still have my PS3 disc for that game. It would have been nice to have a updated disc of that that's not limited to the limited run games format.
Yeah, can't really relate, but congratulations.
Yeah, good for you, Chef.
It's rough being the only person that likes physical games on the podcast.
Well, whatever. Let's not go into this. I'm sick and tired of moving. I do not want to move games. What are you going to do? How are you going to trade them into EB Games? Oh, hang on. Are you going to trade them into EB Games and get 50 cents in store credit?
I have in the past.
Think of how many Funko Pops you can buy if you traded in all your physical copies.
Probably about half of one.
half
50 cents per
Funko
game.
Pop.
This game came out last week. Yeah, 50 cents. No, there's a scratch. You actually owe us money. Dog.
It's a Funko Pop, but the store employee gets to open the box and chew one side of it before they hand it to you.
What? What an odd thing to say.
Speaking of odd things, Nintendo Direct
Speaking of
announcements.
physical games that we all like licking.
Now that's an odd thing to say. We have quite a few announcements from Nintendo Direct. And the craziest part was when, even though they said they weren't going to talk about the new Nintendo Switch, that was all they talked about for like 7 hours.
Not funny, man.
I thought it was kind of funny. What?
Kind of funny. That's a YouTube content creator, isn't it?
I believe that's how we've seen comments describing you on this podcast, actually. So
Hey, more comments than you guys have gotten.
What interests people in this list? I did not expect a Metal Slug Auto Battler. Not gonna lie,
Apparently, that's a mobile game that's just getting ported to Switch.
doesn't surprise me at all. Just Dance, I thought was retired as a series, and
Actually, I got to look up if that game has a Wii version coming out.
It probably does. They release that game on everything.
Stray, I am. I don't even know. I'm like, I'm a little excited by the idea of it being released on Nintendo Switch. I'm just so nervous that it's onto the Nintendo Switch. Like porting it to like another platform, sure. Porting it to the Nintendo Switch,
There were a
questionable.
there were a couple of games on here that were like, "Oh, this is a neat announcement." You're clearly showing the Switch version because it's running and looking like absolute shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the new Phantom Brave, the Lost Hero game. Like the moment they jumped to gameplay in that in that game, it dropped to single digit frame rate.
And they're doing it in the direct. Yeah, I'm rewatching it now. It's not good.
No bueno.
But yeah, like so we did get some good things. Let's be real. But the first party stuff is fantastic. We got, of course, everyone's favorite game, Fairy Tail 2. I don't even think there was a Fairy Tail 1.
There was. It stops right before the final arc of the series, and Fairy Tail 2 is going to be the final arc.
I can't believe
Don't ask why I know this.
I can't believe that
Is this
Seth has
that
made it this
turn-based
far.
one they kind of made? Nah, it doesn't matter.
No, it is an action RPG, I think.
Oh, maybe I'll pick it up then. Fairy Tail was
So-
weird.
Fuck's sake.
Too fan servicey.
Let me make a joke, damn it.
All right, make a joke.
Can't believe Seth's waited this long before saying that he is super excited for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection.
I was waiting for you guys to get your lists out of the way so I could just go on a spiel about like 90% of this. But yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, absolutely phenomenal. Didn't expect this to happen. I thought Marvel vs. Capcom was going to be dead forever and never come back. Because Marvel is kind of in a weird situation, and the licensing would have been incredibly hard to do, I felt like.
Why is it the splash screen or whatever you want to call it? Why is it Cyclops and Ryu like dapping up as like
because
Cyclops
in the first game that was a crossover, X-Men versus Street Fighter, the arcade intro was Ryu and Cyclops coming together and shaking hands.
But like, why Cyclops? Is he?
He was basically the face of the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise. Cyclops, the real leader of the X-Men.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. But no, I'm good. I'm glad you got a fighting game, Seth.
I'm also glad I got a good fighting game.
Didn't say it was a good one.
Also, just going to throw the rock from my glass house. Everyone back into the year 2000, I think it was, that Marvel 2 came out. Everyone back then said that the game had a bad OST, and they all had shit taste. They're trying to run it back by going, actually, no, we were just in our mixtape era, like, just making our own jams for these games. It's like, no, you all hated this soundtrack, and it's fire.
Fair enough.
They also announced a Legend of Link game, which is pretty cool. The Legend of Link Echoes of Wisdom.
Wrong answer, Steve.
Where you get to play Zelda.
What you meant to say is they announced Hello Kitty Island Adventure, and we are all here for it.
We are all here for that.
I thought it was just implied. I thought we were going to do a whole episode on that. But no, like it's
be excited for that spoiler cast.
A Funko Pop game.
We don't have to talk about all the games, fellas.
Do you think Patrick doesn't want to talk about the Funko Pop game and how that also ran at single-digit frame rate?
Look, I think it says a lot about Pat if he wants to talk about the Funko Pops game, and it will irreparably change my opinion of him. Any person that buys this game will irreparably change my perception of that person.
We as a society need to talk about how He-Man characters are in that game.
We need as a society to talk about Funko Pops and weird obsessions, and then it's becoming a video game. I'm literally speechless for once in my life.
Go back to playing Funko Gears of War.
Don't know what that is.
It's right there in the title.
Come on,
I don't know. This game just fucking it revs me up something fucking fierce. Also, why is Lego Horizon Adventures coming to the Switch? Imagine playing for your kid. You get fucking Lego Horizon Adventures, and like, I want to play the Horizon series, but it's fucking on the PlayStation.
Yeah, we literally talked about this during the Absolute State of Play episode, but I feel like it might have been something to do with Lego licensing where they required it to be on multiple systems and not just PlayStation exclusive.
Very weird. It is, but I think given the mechanical nature of the enemies that you fight, it's almost perfect for like a Lego-y graphical overhaul.
Yeah. Apparently this game, literally everything in it is based on real Lego bricks. So you could build everything in it.
Everything in the Lego game is based on real Lego. Holy shit.
No, because past Lego games have things that you can't build out of real Legos because it's just got fictional Lego pieces.
Coward's move. No, the game that I am actually kind of excited for, Super Mario Party Jamboree. I'm kind of excited for this, and so I have like a love-hate relationship with the mini games and the Joy-Con specifically, and I had like so many issues trying to play the Super Mario Party Switch Mario Party game.
Yeah,
because so many of the mini games were like Joy-Con movement based, and they played so rough.
It's been an issue ever since the Wii with Mario Party.
Yeah, and so when they announced the throwback collection of, I don't remember what it's called, just like Mario Party.
Super Mario Party, I think, was that one, and the other one was the Mario Party Superstars.
That's the one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they have the same fucking name. Mario Party Superstars. That's what I was thinking of. I picked that up. That is a lot of fun. Even with people that have never played this before, and I see something like Super Mario Party Jamboree. I, on one hand, am excited because they talk about how massive the game is and like how much stuff there is in there. On the other hand,
7 game boards.
That is quite a few.
I don't know if that's not a lot, isn't it?
The games usually have 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's got more.
So it's got 5 original and 2 throwbacks.
Yeah. My bigger concern is that a lot of the newer minigames are still going to be Joy-Con movement based, and it'll be like, okay, so the game board's cool, but all the minigames just make me want to cry.
My hopes are alleviated with that because they've said that you're going to be able to disable them. So I feel like they're going to be lesser amount of them to make up for people wanting them turned off.
I don't know anyone. I know a lot of people that enjoy Mario Party. I don't know anyone that goes, can we please play Super Mario Party? Because I really love the Joy-Con movement-based minigames.
Yeah, no, that is not a thing anyone ever says. I'm very excited for the online mayhem mode as well, where it's 20 people.
Yeah, that seems kind of interesting.
They're jumping on the Fall Guys bandwagon.
The fuck's a Fall Guy? You mean Stumble Guys?
Yeah, sure. When they sponsor us. and then
How
I'll
you doing
lose the
now?
sponsorship footage.
Oh man, if only.
Shout outs to Alpha Rad. He'll shout us out. Shout out us back. Jesus Christ, that's a hard
I think you're
sentence
going
to
to shout
say.
us out with the way you stumbled over that sentence, man. You know what, Mr. Beast, give us a shout out, big fella.
He's gonna shout at us by the time you're done.
Anything
yeah,
else you
also,
guys want to specifically bring up? Because I have quite a few still.
I hit all my ones, so take
just
them away.
Metroid Prime
Toys.
4.
Yeah. Not a lot to say about that one besides they finally showed it. It's coming out
fucking
2025, which means it's probably going to be a cross generation game. I fully expect this to be Switch
100%,
and Switch 2.
I'm surprised they didn't announce it was coming out for the Switch 2. I know the Switch 2 technically doesn't exist. They've said it does, but it doesn't. They haven't announced it. But
They haven't announced it, and they said they weren't going to talk about it in this direct.
But by saying that they've talked about it. But I don't know. Maybe I expected a bit more Nintendo loves a tease. Maybe I expected a bit more of a tease. No, I'll leave it at that.
Nah, this went about how I expected. They're not going to mention it yet, but there is a game here that's very specifically going, hey, this will probably be cross-gen just by looking at it. Yeah, no, Metroid Prime 4 also looks very pretty. It looks like what you want a Metroid Prime game to be. Okay. My one, I'm just going to go down the article list. Mario and Luigi Brothership. A new Mario and Luigi RPG game is being made, and after Alpha Dream got shut down, and I think we talked about them before, I wasn't expecting the series to ever come back. Apparently, a lot of Alpha Dream employees moved over to Nintendo, though, after the company got applied for bankruptcy. So this might be a team made up of all of those developers for this series, just coming together to work on this game. And art style wise, I think this is fantastic. This has got a very cartoony look to match the Mario and Luigi art, hand-drawn art style. It's got a lot of squash and stretch animations. Just very pretty game. Very happy that this series is coming back the way it is.
Yeah, I do. I am looking forward to this one as well. Looks like it's got a lot of soul.
Yeah, and soul has been missing from Mario and Luigi ever since it went to the 3DS. Yes, touched on The Legend of Link: Echoes of Wisdom, where you play as Zelda. That's a very cute idea. Very excited to see what they do with that one. Fantasian is finally free from the Apple Arcade Store. This is a RPG being made by, it was made by Hironobu Sakaguchi, the original creator of the Final Fantasy series, and Nobuo Uematsu is on the soundtrack. So very, very interested to see how this game plays out, because I've been interested in it, but never had an Apple product to actually be able to play it. So I've just been kind of waiting for that to be free. Donkey Kong Country Returns coming to Switch. Excited for this one because it's finally a way to play this game without it being in some sort of weird control format. You either had to deal with...
Is this, you're probably just about to say it, but I'm going to interrupt you because I like the sound of my own voice. Is this the one of the bongo drums?
No. This one was the Wii Donkey Kong Country game. And to do all the special moves like rolling and blowing out candles and stuff, you had to shake the Wii remote. And then it got remade on 3DS, but the 3DS version was capped at 30 frames per second, which is a weird frame rates cut. I get it for the 3DS version having to cut it because of hardware restraints, but for a platformer that's based on timing and a lot of really harsh moments, the response of the game really mattered. So having this come out where all of the specials are based on buttons now instead of waggle controls, and it's actually at a good frame rate, it is the non-fucked version of this game. Dragon Quest 3 HD2D finally got re-revealed, and that's coming out this year with a tease that next year Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 2 are going to be remade. And Ace Attorney Investigations Collection, Ace Attorney Investigations 1 was released over here, but 2 was never localized. So this is a very, very nice collection to have, just to have that finally come over. I got to get back to the rest of the Ace Attorney games myself. Like I own all of these games on Steam at this point. I just need to play through them myself. And final one, Romancing Saga 2 is getting a remake. I think that looks neat, but nothing else to say about it besides that.
I have one to toss in there just because I'm watching through a couple of the trailers, and guess what? YouTube recommended to me after one of those trailers played. The Hollow Knight Silksong announcement trailer, Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
that wasn't at the Direct, though.
It wasn't at the Direct, but it was 5 years ago that it was announced.
Yeah, it was. Do you want to hear something even funnier to put that into perspective?
Oh,
Silksong was announced the same year as Elden Ring.
That's crazy. I can't believe Shadow of the Erd Tree is actually Silksong.
But I think that's it. I think the news doc is wrapped up.
Anything more from you, Steve?
No.
You don't want to talk more about the Hello Kitty Island adventure? I know how close that was to your heart.
No, that's just Animal Crossing too.
In the comments on that Silksong announcement video, back in my day, we thought Silksong was going to release Okay Grandpa, Time to Go to Bed. Maybe Waiting for Silksong was the real path of pain. And my favorite one, this was posted around the time I applied for college. I graduated last year.
Oh, I've seen a lot of people talk about how they think, and I agree with, a game being announced shouldn't get the gap between a game being announced and a game releasing should not be longer than it takes someone to graduate high school in America.
There's a joke there to be made, but I'm not brave enough to make it.
The average of it being 3 years. I could make the joke of it shouldn't be the length of the Australian high school system where it's 7 years.
7 years in high school.
6.
Yeesh.
Yeah, 7. Your grades 7 through 12 are high school over here.
Oh, okay. We have intermediate for 7 and 8.
Yeah, I think America is the same, or their intermediate is 7, 8, 9.
Middle school. Yeah, it's 3 years, I'm pretty sure, in America. But yeah, similar kind of setup. Anyway, with that, the news docket is done for this week. That is... more lists survived. We did it, guys. We did it, Patrick. We saved
Not as bad as last time.
For a bit.
It's true. Never forget.
In fact, we shoved one of those lists into the middle of this docket instead of the end.
We did, but the list didn't have that much on it. So that brings us towards the closing time of episode 115. Anything that you guys want to call out for next episode?
Next episode, not specifically. I am going to be slow on doing anything new because I've picked up a side project where I'm going to be doing a reanimation project that is due at the end of this month. I can't believe
you're working on the Assassin's Creed remaster. Just say it, Saif. It's fine.
No, that requires 3D modeling skills that I do not have.
What you reanimating?
A shot from the
These nuts.
You know what? You don't get to know now.
I
don't care. I got my joke out.
I think Steve got himself with that.
Why? You know what? It doesn't matter. What will I be doing next week? Probably Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I'm cutting it out.
He did, but. Fuck you.
And finally, we have a position for all of those moments of Steve saying "sucking toes" for this very moment.
Wouldn't it be funny instead of recording next week? Next week. I don't know. I got lost on the. It doesn't matter. Let's go.
Lost in the sauce.
Take us out, Patrick.
What
will you be doing?
It fucking threw me that it threw me that you said Patrick. You almost always call me Pat. That actually fucking blew my mind.
Patrick, take him out one shot, hard as you can.
P is
Are you
stored
Pickle
in the
Rick?
balls.
Is the Pat shot for fucking Pickle?
What?
Is Pat short for pickle and like Rick's the actual name? Are you Pickle Rick?
I don't know where he's going with this. Please get us out of here.
You do need to have a very high IQ for me to answer that question. Well, thank you so much for listening to episode 115. If you happen to be listening to this on any kind of podcasting platform, a like, a rating, a comment, a subscription, very much appreciated. We're on all social medias, Fast Travel Lounge. Just be aware that on X, formerly Twitter, we are missing one of the L's, the L that Elon continually takes from us, but it is what it is. Help us spread the degeneracy. Every bit counts. Yeah, as I say, this has been episode 115. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Pat. I've been joined by Seth and Steve. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Literally could have said happy birthday, Canada. Piece of shit.